The price tag on love. The first time she said it out loud, I didn't get angry. I didn't shout. I didn't even argue. I just felt something inside me click into place, like a lock finally catching. She leaned against the kitchen counter in a silk robe I'd never seen before, smiling like she was offering me a cute little deal at checkout. No trip, no touch, she said. And in that moment, every I miss you, every kiss, every warm laugh, every cold shoulder snapped into focus like a picture coming out of a printer. I smiled back and said, "Fair." Then I went to my bedroom, opened my closet, and started packing. Because when intimacy becomes a receipt, the relationship is already over. Want more stories like this? Subscribe and never miss a lesson on love, life, and self-respect. My name is Caleb. I'm 31. I manage operations for a regional delivery company. Schedules, drivers, routes, budgets, the unglamorous machinery that makes packages arrive on time. It's steady work. I'm good at it. It pays well enough that I don't stress over groceries or gas, but not throw money at luxury vacations well. I met Vanessa at a friend's game night. She walked in late, wearing a coat that looked expensive and a smile that made everyone turn their heads. She wasn't loud. She didn't need to be. She had that polished kind of confidence, like she already knew she belonged in whatever room she entered. She said she worked in digital marketing for a boutique brand. When she talked, she made it sound like she was building an empire with her phone. We flirted over pizza and cheap beer. She laughed at my dry jokes. I liked how she held eye contact. At the end of the night, she typed her number into my phone and said, "Text me tomorrow." Don't make it weird. I texted her the next morning. She replied immediately. And for a while, it felt easy. The first few months were normal in the best way. We split dates naturally. If I grabbed dinner, she'd cover drinks. If she picked the restaurant, I'd pay the check and she'd leave the tip. No drama, no scorekeeping. When she talked about the future, she sounded grounded. "I'm trying to build stability," she told me once. "My parents were chaotic with money. I don't want that." That sentence made me trust her. So when her lease ended and she suggested moving in, I didn't feel nervous. I felt lucky. "It'll be smart," she said, curled up on my couch. "Well-cut expenses, stack savings, travel more." Travel more. The phrase landed like a promise. We agreed she'd move into my apartment at the start of summer. She told me she'd contribute once she got through a transition at work, something about shifting clients and delayed commissions. It sounded reasonable. The first month, she didn't pay anything. She said, "I just need to get my account organized. I swear I'm not freeloading." The second month, she didn't pay anything. She said, "I'm building a buffer first, babe. I need an emergency fund. That's healthy." The third month, she didn't pay anything. She said, "I'm about to land a bigger client. Once that clears, I'll start contributing." By month 4, she stopped explaining, like it wasn't even a topic anymore. And I told myself not to overthink it, because I loved her. Here's the thing. I didn't mind being generous. I like taking care of people. I'm the guy who buys snacks for the office, who picks up the tab when someone's short, who shows up with a toolbox and a calm voice. But generosity only feels good when it's appreciated and balanced. With Vanessa, it started feeling like gravity, like the money just naturally rolled downhill toward her. Her closet expanded the way mold grows, quietly, constantly, never stopping. Packages arrived every other day. There were always new shoes by the door, new candles, new work outfits, new skincare with names I couldn't pronounce. And the Instagram posts? Perfect. Brunch plates, mirror selfies, rooftop views. The caption always implied she was living some effortless boss girl life. What it didn't show was me unloading groceries alone, me paying rent, me covering utilities, me saying yes to little expenses that added up like termites. Whenever I brought up the idea of splitting things, she would tilt her head and smile like I was adorable for even asking. "My job is client-facing," she'd say. "My image is part of the product." Or, "I'm investing in my career, Caleb." Don't you want me to win? I did want her to win. That was the trap. Because it made me feel like questioning the arrangement meant I wasn't supportive. Like I was the villain for wanting basic fairness. So I swallowed it. Then her birthday came. A week before it, she sent me a neat little list of links. Not suggestions, links. A handbag that cost more than my car payment. Heels that looked like they belonged in a museum. A bracelet that made my stomach tighten just looking at it. Pick whatever speaks to you, she said sweetly. I'm not demanding anything. But when someone sends links, it's already a demand, just wrapped in a bow. I bought the bag. It was expensive, but I figured, okay, it's her birthday, a big gift, a gesture. She opened it in front of me, eyes bright for 2 seconds. Then her face fell. That's beautiful, she said slowly, like she was searching for the right lie. And then, you didn't get anything else? It wasn't what she said. It was how she said it. Like appreciation wasn't even an option. Later that night, she posted a photo of the bag on her story with the caption, "Finally treated myself. Treated herself. Like I didn't exist." That's when the first real crack formed in my patience. Over time, I noticed something I wish I could unsee. Vanessa's affection had a schedule, and it wasn't based on love. It was based on purchases. When she wanted something, a dinner reservation, a shopping spree, a weekend away, she became warm and close. She'd brush my arm, kiss my neck, laugh at jokes she'd normally ignore. Then, as soon as she got what she wanted, she'd go distant. Back on her phone. Short answers. No touching. If I suggested we stay in and cook, she'd become cold for days. If I offered something expensive, she'd light up like a ring light had been switched on behind her eyes. It was so consistent, it started to feel scientific. And the part that messes with you is how normal it looks from the outside. Because she wasn't screaming. She wasn't insulting me, at least not directly. She was just training me. Reward, withdraw, reward, withdraw. Like I was a vending machine that only worked when she pressed the right buttons. The breaking point wasn't a purse, or rent, or brunch. It was a trip, not Dubai, not Bali, not some cliché destination everyone fights over in the comments. It was the Maldives. Her friends, Sienna, Brooke, and Lila, decided they needed a soft life girls getaway. Overwater villas, private boat photos, white dress dinners. The kind of trip designed less for rest and more for proof. Vanessa talked about it like it was her destiny. She showed me photos of the resort, the floating breakfast trays, the sunset swings, the beach club with string lights. It's going to be iconic, she kept saying. I assumed she was paying for it with all that money she was saving. Then, one Tuesday night, she stepped into the living room wearing lingerie I'd never seen. Expensive, new, clearly purchased for a purpose. She sat beside me on the couch, close enough that her perfume coated the air. I need to talk to you, she said softly. I closed my laptop. Okay. She pulled up the trip spreadsheet on her phone like a project proposal. Total cost is $9,200, she said, like she was announcing a weather forecast. I blinked. 9,000? It's all inclusive, she said quickly. Flights, villa, activities, and the girls are counting on me. I waited, because she hadn't answered the obvious question. She smiled, slid closer, and rested her hand on my thigh. I want this to be your gift, she said. My brain stalled for a second. My gift? Yes, she said, eyes wide like this was romantic. We've been together long enough. You should want to do something major for me, something that proves you're serious. You want me to pay for your friend's trip. It's not for my friends, she snapped, then softened again instantly. It's for me, for my happiness, which should matter to you. I took a slow breath. Vanessa, you haven't paid rent in months. Her face hardened. Here we go. I'm not trying to attack you, I said. I'm trying to understand why you think this is reasonable. It's not about money, she said sharply. It's about priority. That is money, I said. $9,000 is literally money. She stood up, crossing her arms. Fine, she said. Let's make it simple. Then she said the sentence I will remember until I'm old and stubborn and telling younger men to protect their peace. I'm not sleeping with you until you pay for it. No trip, no touch. There it was. The truth. Finally spoken. I stared at her, waiting for the punchline. It didn't come. You're serious, I said. I'm honest, she corrected. This is what I need. If you can't do one thing to show you're invested, maybe you're not the kind of partner I thought you were. I felt something calm settle over me. Not calm like peace. Calm like clarity. Fair, I said. Her eyes widened. Fair? Fair, I repeated. You have terms. I understand the terms. She took a step toward me, flustered. It's not like that. It is exactly like that, I said quietly. You just said it like that. She scoffed. Think about it, she said. I'm meeting the girls. We'll talk when I'm back. And she walked out, leaving me on the couch in the silence. Silence loud enough to hear my own self-respect crawling back into my body. I didn't sleep. I lay there staring at the ceiling, replaying everything. The birthday bag. The treated myself caption. The brunches. The cold shoulders. The way she acted like my support was a given, not a gift. And now, the explicit bargaining. Intimacy for payment. I realized something that should have been obvious. She wasn't building a life with me. She was building a lifestyle on me. By sunrise, my decision was already made. I didn't feel rage. I felt relief. Because when someone makes the rules clear, you're finally free to choose whether you want to play. Wednesday, I went to work like nothing happened. Answered emails, managed routes, approved schedules. I acted normal because I needed my brain to stay steady. At lunch, I texted my cousin Mark. Can I crash at your place for a couple weeks? He replied instantly, always. You okay? Explain later, I wrote. I spent the afternoon doing math, lease break fees, storage unit costs, replacement apartment prices. My phone buzzed at 3:17 p.m. Vanessa, still thinking about it? I replied, no. Answers no. Her response hit back within seconds. Wow. Okay, good to know where I stand. I didn't reply. That night, she stayed in the bedroom, scrolling. I stayed in the living room, planning my exit like a man quietly escaping a burning building. Thursday morning, she announced she was going out. I need outfits, she said. This trip is in 10 days. Have fun, I said. She paused like she expected me to stop her, to apologize, to cave. I didn't. She left. As soon as her ride pulled away, I stood up and started moving like my body had been waiting for permission. I called Mark. I'm moving today. He was at my door in 40 minutes with his friend Luis and a borrowed van. We moved fast. Most of the furniture was mine from before she moved in. Couch, TV, coffee table, shelves, desk, even the bed frame. Vanessa's contributions were mostly decorative. Pillows, throw blankets, some art prints, a vanity mirror with lights. We packed my clothes, my documents, my electronics, my kitchen gear, the things that were mine, the things I paid for, the things I didn't want to leave behind as a parting gift. By late afternoon, the apartment looked like a stage set after a show, half-stripped, quiet, and strangely honest. Before I left, I wrote a note. Not a dramatic essay, just the truth. Vanessa, I'm moving out. I've paid this month's rent. You have 30 days to arrange your next place. I won't be financing a relationship that comes with price tags. Enjoy the Maldives. I'm enjoying being free. Caleb. I placed the note on the kitchen counter, left my key beside it. Then I texted my landlord to start the formal process. Vanessa wasn't on the lease. Legally, she wasn't a tenant, just someone I allowed to live there. That matters. And then I blocked her. Phone, socials, everything. When I drove away, the air felt lighter, like I had been holding my breath for months without realizing it. She came home that evening to a quiet apartment and missing furniture. I didn't see it, but I heard about it later from a neighbor who texted Mark. She's losing it. My phone filled with blocked call notifications. Then came the texts from unknown numbers. Her friends, clearly. You're insane for doing this. She was joking. You're ruining her life. One message said, "It's just a trip, you selfish jerk." I didn't respond. I blocked every number, because here's what people never understand. It's never just one thing. It's always a pattern that finally got caught on camera. Friday morning, my receptionist called my extension. "There's a woman here asking for you," she said, voice careful. "Vanessa?" My stomach tightened. "Tell her I'm not available," I said. "She's upset," the receptionist added. Like, really upset. "I'm not available," I repeated. "If she won't leave, please call security." She left, but not quietly. I heard later she cried in the lobby, accusing me of abandoning her over a misunderstanding. Vanessa still went on the trip, not because she magically found the money, but because pride is a powerful drug. From what I heard, she had already paid a deposit and her friends covered the rest to save the experience. Her Instagram showed white sand and forced smiles. But mutual friends said she spent most nights in the villa, angry and distracted, checking her phone like it might deliver a different reality. Meanwhile, I was doing something her feed could never capture. I was rebuilding my life in peace. I found a one-bedroom apartment near my job. Nothing fancy, clean, bright, mine. I reconnected with friends I'd been neglecting, went back to the gym consistently, started running again. I ate at normal restaurants without calculating whether it would trigger a mood swing. My boss even noticed. "You seem sharper lately," he said one afternoon. "Whatever changed, keep it." I just nodded. Because how do you explain that you stopped paying for someone else's fantasy and suddenly remembered who you are? About 2 weeks after I moved, my friend Jordan asked if I wanted to meet someone. "No pressure," he said. "Just coffee." Her name's Elise. She teaches art classes. Normal human. Normal sounded like oxygen. We met on a Saturday morning at a quiet cafe. Elise was calm in a way Vanessa never was. Not dull, just steady. She didn't check her phone every 10 seconds. She asked questions and waited for the answers. She smiled with her eyes. When the check came, she reached for it. "Let's split," she said. I hesitated out of habit. She laughed. "Don't do the I must pay because I'm a man thing. I have a job. I can buy coffee." It was such a small moment, but it hit me like a lesson. Not because splitting coffee is sacred, because it meant she didn't see me as a resource. We started texting, then dinners, then a museum date where she insisted on buying the tickets because it was her idea. No games, no hints, no emotional invoices, just a person showing up as a full person. 2 months later, I ran into Vanessa at a friend's birthday. I almost didn't go, but Elise said something that stuck with me. "You shouldn't lose your life because of someone else's behavior," she said. "Go. If she's there, well, be fine." So, we went. The bar was loud, people laughing, music low enough to talk. I was ordering drinks when I felt a stare burn into the side of my face. I turned. Vanessa was across the room, standing near a high table. She looked different. Not in a glow-up way, in a drained way. Her hair was done, makeup sharp, but her eyes looked exhausted, like she'd been sleeping badly for weeks. She walked toward me with purpose. "Can we talk?" she asked. Elise was in the restroom. "Of course." I exhaled. 5 minutes. We stepped outside onto the patio where it was quieter. "I messed up," Vanessa said immediately. "The trip thing was stupid. My friends influenced me. I wasn't thinking." "You were thinking," I said. "You just didn't think I'd leave." She flinched. "I didn't mean it literally," she said quickly. "About the intimacy thing. I was just making a point." "You made your point," I said. And I made mine. Her voice went sharper. You could have talked to me instead of disappearing. I did talk, I said. For months. About rent. About balance. You ignored it. She swallowed. I had to move back with my mom, she said, eyes glossy. Do you know how humiliating that is? I didn't smile. I didn't gloat. I just said, that's what happens when you build your stability on someone else's wallet. She looked past me into the bar. Then Elise stepped out, holding 2 drinks she must have grabbed on her way. She took in Vanessa, took in me, and raised one eyebrow, silently asking, "This her?" Vanessa's face twisted. "So you replaced me already," she said, bitter. "I didn't replace you," I said. "I replaced chaos with peace." Her hand moved fast. The slap hit my cheek, sharp, more loud than painful. I didn't react. I didn't raise my voice. Elise didn't rush forward screaming like a movie. She just stared at Vanessa with the kind of calm that scares unstable people. Vanessa's breathing turned shallow, like she suddenly realized she'd lost the room. "You're unbelievable," she hissed, and she walked away, disappearing back into the crowd. Elise handed me a drink like nothing happened. "You okay?" she asked. I rubbed my cheek once. "I'm fine." She nodded. "Good, because if she touches you again, I'm not going to be as calm as you." That was the moment I knew Elise wasn't playing. People love dramatic endings. They want revenge arcs. They want Vanessa to get exposed online, lose her job, get dumped by her friends, and learn a huge lesson. Real life doesn't always do that. What I heard later was simple. Vanessa started dating someone else. She posted new soft life content. She hinted at gifts. She kept chasing the same validation. Maybe she'll grow up. Maybe she won't. But her growth was no longer my assignment. Because the real lesson wasn't about her. It was about me. It was about what happens when you ignore patterns because you're afraid of conflict. When you confuse love with endurance. When you keep paying for peace instead of demanding respect. I learned that support isn't a blank check. That generosity without boundaries becomes self-betrayal. That affection should be free, freely given, freely received, not used as leverage. And I learned one more thing, the most important one. The moment someone makes your relationship transactional, sex for money, love for gifts, warmth for compliance, the relationship has already ended. All that's left is the paperwork. I did the paperwork. And when I look back, I don't feel anger. I feel relief. Because leaving didn't make me lonely. It made me free. And freedom, it turns out, is priceless.